As you know, there are many softwares tools available in the market where you can download for speech to text conversion, right? We know that, but what if we have our own application and build a small application where I can use it for a speech to text conversion, right? There is a possibility that whenever you download or use a third party software or a tools, there is a possibility. I'm not saying that every time, but there is a possibility that the potential of the virus can, harm your system, right? There are many cases we have heard about this, right? So why to take a risk? Why can't we build a small application where I can use it for my own purpose and convert any text, any speech, my speech into text, right? Talking on that line, let's get started. How one can build a small application to convert a speech into a text, right? So let's get started and try to understand what are the libraries we need to import, how we can make use of the Google system here. Things like that we'll see, and we'll also able to write any text, like after converting speech into text, I can also automatically write into any of the documents. Like, let's imagine this, right? There is a possibility that when, if you want to do some research or anything for any reason, right? I'm not talking about any particular thing here. If you want to write some documents or if you want to write some notes, right? So we sometimes kind of feel lazy, and if the document is too big, right? So it is difficult to, you know, um, sit and write, So on that line, so what we can do, we can make use of this application. We can just talk, keep talking, right? Keep talking. So once we are done with that, yes, our application will be able to recognize our speech and will be able to convert into text, and also will write into a document, right? We will see a few things and we'll see how things will work, right? Let's get started. So first and foremost, what you need to do, you need to import certain libraries here in order to work on speech to text, right? So install this PyAudio, right? PyAudio, pip install PyAudio. There is explanatory mark. You can use that. If you are using Anaconda prompt, you don't need to enter this prompt, explanatory mark. All right. So yeah, you can use that PyAudio. So that is the first thing, and sometimes it might work without this also, but it doesn't harm you even if you install this PyAudio. All right. Let's begin. So first and foremost, I'm going to import a library called speech underscore recognition. Right? I'm going to import this as a SR. I can give any name here, doesn't matter. Right? SR is what I'm going to give. That is a short form for speech recognition. The next thing what I'm going to do in this speech recognition, right? I'm going to use this speech recognition. There is a method called recognizer. Recognizer. This is a case sensitive recognizer, and I'm going to instantiate into one of the object called R. You can give any name, right? So R I'm going to store in this, sr dot recognizer into R, right? That is basically I'm instantiating. So going forward, I will keep using only R instead of writing every time sr dot recognizer, right? And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a with, right? With. So here, what I'm going to do here, we have seen in the Python loops, right? So here, kind of a thing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a with, right? So here I'm going to take this SR, right? Take this SR dot microphone. Microphone. SR is what? My speech recognition. Let me remove this. SR is my speech recognition. There I have a microphone option in the speech recognition. Again, case sensitive. So with sr.microphone as a source, this is going to be my source, right? Because whenever I speak, I have to speak through microphone, right? That is basically my source. I'm going to store it as a source, right? So then I'm going to print it, print something so that I will get to know when I should speak, right? Because control will first go here, then it will execute this line. Then when the control comes over this line, so then it will prompt me to start talking. So I will get to know whenever this start talking word prints, so then I can start speaking, right? This is just for a indication for me, so when I should start, right? You will see that once we do this, once we execute this, right? And the next thing is I'm going to store some data into audio underscore text. What is the some data? Some data is basically sr dot recognizer, that is R, right? R dot listen. R dot listen. It's a method. It's a method R dot listen. So where I have to give the input data, right? So I'm going to give my input data through the source, because source is nothing but our microphone, right? So I'm going to use this source, that is nothing but microphone, and it is going to listen, right? It is going to listen whatever I'm going to speak. And everything is stored in this audio text. Everything is stored in audio text, right? Fine. So audio text is stored here. Then I'm going to print this. I'm going to print this particular text. So after converting, it is going to give me a message. Okay, so here is your converted text below, right? Let's see that how it is going to, we are going to plug in this audio text and things like that, right? So the next step is, right? Next step is try and accept blocks. We have seen in the Python what is try and accept, right? Let's imagine this one, right? So it is going to give me a message, okay, start talking, start talking. Maybe my voice is not clear. Maybe I forgot to speak. There could be any reason where my voice is not recognized, or maybe there is no voice at all. Maybe my mic is not working. There are many reasons where a system might not receive the voice or the input, right? So what if it doesn't receive any input? What it's supposed to do, right? So that's where we have a try and accept block. If it works fine, it is going to execute these lines. If mic doesn't work for any reason, my system doesn't receive any input, it will go into accept block. We have seen in the Python videos, right? So yes, in that case, I will get an idea that, okay, system did not recognize a voice or it did not receive any input. So then I can start investigating what went wrong and things like that, right? That is a different story, right? If things did not go well, then I can investigate and start working on it. But at least I should know that whether it is working or not. So this way I will be able to understand, right? That's why we're using try and accept block. So what we have in the try and accept block. So in the try block, I am going to use this R dot recognize underscore Google. Here I'm going to use the Google software, the Google tool, you can say, right? It is basically going to recognize the speech, right? Recognize underscore Google. So I have my audio text here. I have an audio text here. It is going to recognize using what? Recognizer. R is the recognizer. Then we will store into speech to text. Speech to text a variable. So I'm going to simply print that. I'm going to print it. I store it here, I can print it, right? So let's do one thing. Let me start reading some text, right? Uh, some speech, right? So then we'll see that how things will come out. All right. So let's begin and let's we execute this. First, I need to execute this guy. Let me execute that. Now I'm going to execute this piece of code. Speech to text is a wonderful concept. Whenever you want to write something, don't waste your time. Just use speech to text. This will do your job. You see this, something it did not recognize, right? I was keep on talking, but looks like it did not receive some input. So immediately throw me an error. Sorry, I did not get that. I don't know what went wrong. Maybe I have delayed to start talking. So let's do one thing. Let's try to do one more time. Let's try. All right. Speech to text is a wonderful concept. Whenever you want to write some stories, don't waste your time. Just use speech to text application. This will do a wonderful job for you. Thank you. Okay, so here you can see that speech to text is a wonderful concept. Maybe it took as a concert instead of a concept, right? So doesn't matter. Maybe I did not pronounce it properly, right? So then whenever you want to write some stories, don't waste your time. Just use it to text. Just use it, right? Speech to text, maybe some misinterpretation. Speech to text application. This will do a wonderful job for you. Thank you. Right? You can see that small mistakes. Maybe I have not pronounced it properly. So it is possible that sometimes if you don't pronounce it properly, so you might end up getting some different text here. But if you are able to pronounce it properly, so you don't have any issues, right? So you can see that how we are able to convert speech to text. Now, how do I, okay, here I have a text. If I want to store this data, right, this converted text into any document, maybe you wanted to write some stories. Maybe you wanted to write some article, right? So instead of writing into a document, you can keep reading your article or whatever it is, and we'll be able to store that in a document, right? Let's say that how to write in the document. How to write in the document. So in that case, we have to uh, work on a file, right? So document is also file. We have seen in the file input output operation in the Python, right? Let's try to leverage that concept here and write into a file. So here I'm going to write into Word document. I can write it in a text.txt. I can also write in a .doc. Let's use a .doc. What I'm going to do here, I am going to open a file story.doc. It doesn't and it don't need to be created already. So in case if you don't have this file name, it will create a new file with this name. I'm opening a file in a write mode, right? W is for a write mode, R is for a read mode. Since I wanted to write, I'm going to use W, right? So I'm going to instantiate in the one of the variable f. Then I say f dot write. Since I have opened the file in a write mode, I have to do write operation only, right? Write operation. You see here, I am going to use this speech underscore to underscore text. What is that? That is nothing but this guy. That is nothing but speech to text, this guy, right? Whatever I have spoke here, that is already stored in the speech underscore to underscore text. So what I'm going to do, I am going to simply take that data, take that data, and I wanted to write in this file. And finally, I'm going to close it because we know once you open the file, after doing an operation, either read or write, you have to close. That is the best practice, and that's how we supposed to do. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run this cell. Now it is done. It is done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the folder where I have stored this story.doc, right? Where is this? Oh, here, right? This is the story. You see that when it is created and timing is the same time. You can see here, speech to text is a wonderful concept, supposed to be a concept. Whenever you want to write some stories, don't waste your time. Just use it to text application. This will do a wonderful job for you. Thank you. Right? For sure, you may be thinking, how do we correct this and all? So for sure, at the end of this, you just need to keep checking what is if anything went wrong, right? Obviously, you need that. You cannot 100% rely on this conversion because sometimes without our knowledge, we might speak something else or it might hear something else. So obviously, one needs to go through the document and adjust or correct wherever necessary. All right. Yes, that's all in this video. Thank you for watching this speech to text video. And you will be able to see one more video that is a bonus video. Please enjoy the bonus video. Thank you very much.